Okay, pet lovers, dog lovers, everything. So last week would have been pretty interesting for you. So I've just been checking Spotify and I found that there's the first ever dog there as a singer, artist, whatever it be. So yeah, looks interesting, and yeah, I'm waiting to see what this is all about. So I just had a check on it on Spotify, and the songs were not so great, but then yeah, I love the story behind it, where we were having a stray dog and actually adopted it, and they put the dog through videos and songs, and they actually made something out of it. So quite happy about that particular incident. But then yeah, we are a country with around what 60 million stray dogs. So big question, what's going to happen to us, what's going to happen to them. So whenever I do speak about this, we have like a large bunch of people who defend it like to the end of their lives. It's like, oh my god, stray dogs, I love them, I'm a pet lover, and if at all you do say anything against them, you hate pets and you should never be allowed near a pet. And if you do give them statistics about how many people die of rabies, and that's not a small number. We're like looking at what, 20,000 deaths in a single year, so that's not small. So at that point of time, what is it that many people end up saying? Yes, uh, the persons might have provoked them in any way, and that's the reason that they got bitten in the first place. But it's not necessarily true. I mean, obviously there are some people who are absolutely mean towards animals, and I've seen that, especially during festivals when they put firecrackers, or in general they just are absolutely mean towards animals in general, dogs specifically, stray dogs. So we have the absolute worst of humans, that's true. So no discounting that. They are actually the animals in that case. But yes, we're talking about general public, sometimes normal people who, you just look up the newspapers, you will see some old lady was just hanging her clothes, and a bunch of dogs actually came together and attacked her. That's worse. She did absolutely nothing to provoke it. And yeah, many people, I mean, if you work or live in an urban area, you'd know, you just have to go on a cycle or go on a bike in some areas, and you'll have like an entire pack of dogs running behind you. So I don't think they've done anything specific, because they've never even seen these dogs before. So dogs, you have to give it to them. I mean, they are pack animals. They are descended from the wolves, so they have that instinct of just running and hounding together and catching. And I mean, if you look at history, they have been used as pack dogs, hunting dogs, and everything. So yeah, it's natural instinct to them. But what can we do about it now? Because we are reaching a situation where in the urban areas itself, we have fight between people over the dogs. We have one bunch of people who say that they're absolutely cute and nice and sweet. And I had a colleague of mine once who, every time the company cab used to come to pick her or drop her, there'd be this entire, like, I'm not even kidding, like 20 odd dogs just running to actually welcome her or just whine that she's leaving. So again, for a normal person, and I have colleagues who are scared of dogs too, and they'd be terrified when they see like 20 dogs rounding up on her. So again, for me, I'm neutral. I mean, I don't love dogs, but I don't hate dogs either. I love my own dogs, that's it, and I would take care of my own dogs. That's a totally different matter. But the big question over here is, many of these dog lovers, they seem to be like saying that they're absolutely innocent of anything. They're like the cutest, and they would go to any length to defend those stray dogs. But the problem happens when those dogs who they've been feeding and caring for, they end up attacking another human. And when I say attacking, sometimes small kids and all, they rip them to pieces. It's not even a small bite or something, many kids die. So when something like this happens, who is to take responsibility? I mean, it's not the kids' fault. They were just walking to go to school in a regular road, so they didn't do anything. They literally did nothing to deserve getting bitten or dying. They don't deserve that. So at that point of time, who is to blame really? I mean, we we talk about being nice to animals, but what about being nice to human beings? I mean, these are kids, these are small kids, these are small humans, and they're getting attacked. So that's not a good thing. Even adults, it's not funny when you have a bunch of dogs running behind you. It's terrifying. When you're on a bike or something, you're likely to go crash somewhere. Even if you say that there are dogs who don't really bite, they just love running behind cars, they love running behind a bike or something. Fine, that might be true, but when you have like 10 of them running behind you, it doesn't seem like they're just enjoying the run with you. It seems very much that they are going to rip you to pieces, and that's enough to cause an accident and have fatal injuries there. So again, who is to blame over there? Because we've had so many newspaper reports of people. There are, in housing communities, there are a bunch of people who want to feed all these dogs, and there's another bunch of people who say shoot it. So obviously you obviously can do nothing with regards to it, because as per the Animal Control Act, we we shouldn't be. And uh, be it on an ethical point of view or be it as per the act, killing is definitely not an option. I mean, that that's really not right. So if not that, then what exactly can we do? So to understand that, you have to just look at other countries that do have stray issues and who've actually won over it. So one of the things that people always say is neutering them or sterilizing them. So if you're looking at one of the countries that has zero strays as of today, that's the Netherlands. And one of the things that they're doing brilliantly is, over the last many years, they've been sterilizing, they've been neutering the dogs. That's one thing that they've ensured to make sure the population does not increase. And even if you don't allow the population to increase, the next step is the existing dogs, and we're talking millions of dogs. India has like what, 60 million. 60 million, that's a crazy high number. Even if they don't grow anymore, 60 million is a large number to deal with. So what the Netherlands did was, after neutering almost all of the dogs and ensuring that the population does not increase, what they did further was, uh, they encouraged people to adopt them. So obviously that doesn't always work, because if the government just says fine, just adopt dogs, obviously there are going to be a lot of people who are not going to bother about that. So breed fanciers or whatever it may be. So one of the other things that they did was, they taxed the purchase of dogs. So it's reached a stage where if you have to buy a dog from one of those breeders, professional breeders, that be having a heavy tax, and you'd really need to pay like a huge amount of money to buy one of those dogs. And once it hit that stage, people were a little more rational. Like, should I actually spend like a fortune on buying a dog, or can we actually just go ahead and adopt one? So made a lot of sense. It actually worked out really well, and uh, they've taken care of around 1 million dogs that way. And 1 million dogs being adopted, that's amazing. So one thing that I always do suggest is, dog lovers, if you do love dogs and you really mean it, then do consider adoption. I mean, because anytime if we have kids and our kid goes and bites someone or just attacks someone in general, obviously we are responsible. They are a minor, and the parent is obviously responsible. So all these dog mommies and dog daddies, or whatever they call themselves. So if you do have a dog and you do love it so much, then obviously be responsible. Take the accountability part of it too. You can't just take the love from a stray dog and take no responsibility of it. So if at all it is tearing someone to pieces, it's your duty also to ensure that that never happened. So take it home with you and ensure that you do the required sterilization and take care of it. Keep it on a leash. You can do all of that. There are so many things that, if you truly are a pet lover, that is, if you truly are a pet lover, then by all means you can do all of that. Because I've seen many people, especially during COVID. COVID was a time when people were quarantined, they were stuck in houses, and many of them felt lonely. All of that is true. But the thing that they did when they did feel lonely is fine, I'll just get a pet. Or there are some people who have very young kids, and the kid just sees a puppy and, like, I want one. Great. What do the parents do? They just buy off a puppy, and after a few months, they realize that's not working out because there's a lot to it. It's You have to actually take care of it properly. Immunization, taking leashes, taking them for walks. It's not just give them a bit of food at one time of the day and just be happy about it. That you're taking full ownership of the dog. So it's a lot of responsibilities. Many of these people, in that initial moment when they were like small little puppies, they really enjoyed it. Great. Or during the COVID when they're locked down inside, they liked it. But the minute COVID ended, the restrictions ended, they have to go back to office. They considered all of this a big bother to them, which is when they just dumped it onto the streets, which is wrong on so many accounts. Because you're talking about an animal that's given its heart to you. They consider you their entire world, and dogs are amazing that way. Cats I'm not a big fan of because the way they see it is basically, I mean, if you think of it from the mind of a cat, it's basically this human is giving me food and everything I want, so I must be a god. Whereas a dog would be like, this human is giving me everything I want and desire. The human must be a god. So it really, that the bond between humans and dogs are actually quite amazing. So taking that relationship and just throwing it out on the streets, it's wrong on so many levels. So I'm really hoping that this changes, and I'm really hoping that the government at least, I mean, it's difficult to actually ban dog sales and everything, but I mean, they're increasing the taxes on everything. They can definitely look to do this. I'm assuming that there's some sort of a pet lobby or something who would never allow it. But then, yeah, if the government did actually take this seriously, then step one, look to neuter as many stray dogs as you can and control the population from growing. And two, you don't need so many dog breeders. They're making massive profits out of it. You just need to go and ask for the price of a puppy. It's like 10,000, 20, 50K, and also it shouldn't be a business in the first place. So yeah, people who really want a dog or need a purchase a dog, a fancy dog or a foreign dog or whatever it is that they want, they should be willing to pay the tax associated with it. So charge as much of a tax as required such that people don't want to be purchasing dogs anymore, and step up with the shelters, especially if you're giving different options for people to adopt dogs. I mean, I've seen that in Bahrain. It worked really well, where people could just go down to the shelter, really well managed shelters, and they could just adopt one of the dogs because it's been immunized, all the required shots were given, everything is really nicely done. So I'm really hoping that our government does do something along those lines, and it would be amazing if they did. And yeah, hoping for a really happy society where we don't have these conflicts between human beings and animals, and more importantly, humans versus humans about an animal. So yeah, let's hope for the best.